What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin, and I finally got a chance to sit down so I could do this this game recap. Carolina Seattle game. Seattle Seahawks ended up defeating the Carolina Panthers in Seattle, 31-17. And I'm gonna go into a little bit, some of the stats, quarterback, receiver, running back, whatever. Let's start with Seattle. Russell Wilson, 15 of 22, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns, was sacked. 3 touchdowns, I apologize. Was sacked twice, QBR of 83.3, and a rating of 149.2. So the guy played amazing, mistake-free football, and that is definitely something. When you look at that Seattle offense, while they're not like a Green Bay, they're not like a New England, but they don't turn the ball over very much, and they get big plays, and with the ability of Marshawn Lynch and Russell Wilson, they can wear a team down. On the other side, Cam Newton, 23 of 36, 246 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. One was returned for a touchdown by Cam Chancellor. He was sacked twice, QBR of 21.9, and a rating of 79.2. So, he was required to make a lot of plays, man. I thought the running game was okay, but there were some drops in this game. One notable drop was Mike Tolbert, which would have been a first down. It was actually a really big play. It was 17-10. He gets the first down and probably a little bit more. So, not all on Cam, but when you're playing Seattle, a big problem with Cam is inconsistent accuracy. He had some plays where he shows why he was drafted number 1. Then he had some plays like, that's a big problem with him, is inconsistency in his accuracy. And against Seattle, with the way they cover, usually tight man-to-man coverage, or the guys are so fast at breaking on the ball, they have to be in small windows, and it has to be there. It has to be exactly where it should be. And if it's not, there's a good chance it gets picked off. Seattle rushing, Marshawn Lynch, 14 carries, 59 yards. Russell Wilson, 7 carries for 22. Robert Turbin, 7 carries for 19. Now, for the most part, Carolina was able to do a good job against the run, for the first 3 quarters. Into the third, fourth quarter is really when Seattle started to break it open, and they're losing contain of Russell Wilson. Marshawn Lynch was able to get on the outside, make some big runs. One big run mainly, but for the most part, I thought they did pretty good against the run for the most of the game. The Carolina side of things, surprisingly good in the run game. Jonathan Stewart, 13 carries, 70 yards. Cam Newton, 11 carries for 37. D'Angelo Williams, 2 carries for 14. And Mike Tolbert, 2 carries for 10. Some of his yards came at the end of the game, but I thought for the most part, they did a solid job. It's just they weren't able to get points out of a lot of their drives, and there were some drop passes and or turnovers. And some missed throws. Can get some blame for it as well. Receiving side, Seattle, Curse, 3 receptions, 129 yards, touchdown. That was a 63-yard touchdown. Luke Wilson, 4 receptions, 68, and a touchdown. Doug Baldwin, 3 receptions, 38, and a touchdown. Richardson, 1 reception, 21, and Marshawn Lynch, 3 receptions for 6. Usually with Seattle's receivers, it's usually big plays. It comes from Russell Wilson improvising, and because the guy is very difficult to defend. If he's not gonna run with it, he'll usually run around, look down the field, and that's how a lot of guys get open. It happens quite often. That's how they get so many big plays. On the other side, Kelvin Benjamin, 7 receptions, 75 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Greg Olsen, 4 receptions, 58. Ed Dixon, 2 receptions, 33. Jericho Cotchery, 3 receptions, 25. Philly Brown, 2 receptions, 24. Mike Tolbert, 1 reception, 14. And Burson, 1 reception for 11. Kelvin Benjamin, he did most of his damage on the left side. And that's what a lot of teams are going to start doing. They're going to start throwing away from Sherman's side. They're going to start throwing the left side. And it's been a lot of success. Was when Cam was forcing the ball on that side, he did have a turnover. So why not go away from the other, the team's best corner? The problem is those safeties are still really good and can cover so much ground. Defensively, Cam Chancellor to me was a highlight player. He had an interception for 90-yard touchdown, 11 tackles. The guy was everywhere. Earl Thomas also had 11 tackles. Bobby Wagner had 9. Sherman also had an interception. I thought the secondary is still one of the highlights of this team. But do not underestimate that front seven. I remember when Wagner went down, they really suffered in that front seven, and they suffer as defense as a whole. I think that's what gets underrated about this team is when people mention the Legion of Boom, which is those secondary guys, definitely mainly Cam Chancellor. They forget about the front seven. Underrated guys like Bobby Wagner, Cliff Averill, Michael Bennett. A lot of teams forget about those guys. Well, I'm pretty sure they don't. But I guess it's just a media thing when they talk about the secondary. But do not forget about those guys in the front seven, which I thought played really good. Carolina defensively, two notable guys, Thomas Davis, Luke Kuechly, did a good job against the run. I think the front seven did a good job against the run. Like I said, the problem was they ended up getting worn down. They ended up losing contain to Russell Wilson at the end of the game, and Seattle broke the game open once it got to, I believe, 24-10 with the way Carolina's offense was looking. When you're down 2 scores, I mean, they kept it within 1 score. But when you're down 2 scores against a defense like that, when your offense is really not that great, points are going to be at a premium. And, that's a big reason why Cam had that turnover that led to a touchdown, which pretty much sealed the game at 31-10. Carolina ended up scoring a late touchdown. Back to defenders. As I said, Thomas Davis, Luke Kuechly are the two notable guys. K'Wan Short, Mario Addison had a sack and a QB hit. And for the most part, I think they did a good job of bottling up the run game and keeping Russell Wilson in the pocket early on in the game. Let me see others. Third down efficiency. Carolina was 9 of 16. Seattle was 7 of 13. Both teams did a good job on third down. They were able to convert more times than not. Carolina was 1 of 1 on fourth down. Total yards. Carolina actually beat them out 362 yards to 348. So I think on that last touchdown by Carolina, I think that kind of contributed to that. So you can say it was garbage time points because it was at that point 31-10. The game was already over. Let me see. Penalties, still a big problem for Seattle. And it's amazing this team has still been so successful with all these penalties. But they barely turn the ball over. So you can say, well, they get a bunch of penalties. Yeah, they don't turn the ball over. And their defense, the best in football. So there is that. They had 6 penalties for 60 yards. Carolina had 5 penalties for 35. Turnovers, huge, especially when one leads to a score. Carolina had 2 interceptions. One was a touchdown and a fumble. And Seattle was sitting at a goose egg at 0. Time possession won by Carolina, 34 minutes, 3 seconds to 25 minutes, 57 seconds. So, it was big plays. Defensive score, which won't go into the time possession for Seattle. As a matter of fact, yes, it does, but it's a quick score essentially. Big plays for Seattle, and Carolina's inability to, especially later on in the game, to get any kind of points or convert when they really needed to. As you well know, Carolina's out of the playoffs. Seattle, Green Bay's heading to Seattle. I'm going to talk about that game in the preview. Probably will, since Carolina's gone, probably will do next recap on that game. I think I want to keep it in the NFC, so I'm probably going to do a recap on that game. Really thinking about it. Depends on how the games go. Whichever game is more interesting, that'll be the game I'll talk about. But let me know what you think down in the comment section, how this game went. How did you do divisional during the division round? 2-2, big losses by Denver, and let me see. 2-2. No, actually, I was because matter of fact, I just thought about it. I went biased to pick Carolina. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. Also, we'll have a video later about Carolina's the 25th pick, and I'll talk about draft needs and possible free agent signings. That'll be a video a little bit later. Of course, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Thanks for watching.